Linux just did what Microsoft was afraid of, and most people didn't even notice it happening. There was no massive press conference, no flashy billion-dollar marketing campaign, no celebrity endorsements, no giant banners hanging from skyscrapers. It happened quietly, steadily, almost invisibly. But if you look closely at the state of operating systems in 2026, you'll realize something has shifted. The balance of power in computing is no longer as clear as it used to be. And for the first time in decades, Linux isn't just the alternative. It isn't just the server king. It isn't just the developer's playground. It's becoming something much bigger. It's becoming mainstream in a way that directly challenges Microsoft's long-standing dominance. For years, Microsoft's strength wasn't just Windows itself. It was the ecosystem, the lock-in, the compatibility. The idea that if you wanted productivity, gaming, enterprise tools, or simply a smooth consumer experience, Windows was the default. Linux was powerful, yes, flexible, absolutely, secure, often more so. But it was fragmented, intimidating, and not ready for normal users. That was the narrative. And for a long time, that narrative stuck. But here's what changed. Linux stopped trying to replace Windows in the traditional sense. Instead of chasing Windows feature for feature, Linux communities and companies began solving the very problems that frustrated Windows users the most. Forced updates, heavy system requirements, privacy concerns, ads in the operating system, telemetry that couldn't be fully disabled, subscription creep, the shift toward making Windows more of a service than a product. While Microsoft leaned into cloud integration and AI-driven experiences, Linux doubled down on user control. And that's what Microsoft was afraid of. Because control is power. And when users realize they have a choice that gives them more control, the narrative begins to crack. Look at how Linux desktops evolved. 5 or 10 years ago, recommending Linux to an average Windows user meant preparing them for compromises. You'd say, it's great, but that was always there. But some software won't run. But gaming might be tricky. But you'll need to learn the terminal. But drivers can be weird. But it's not as polished. Now that but is disappearing. Modern desktop environments like KDE Plasma and GNOME have matured into experiences that are not only polished, but often more customizable and responsive than Windows itself. Animations are smooth. UI scaling is better than ever. Wayland has matured significantly, delivering improved performance and security. Hardware compatibility has improved dramatically, thanks to better kernel support and manufacturers slowly recognizing Linux as a serious platform. Gaming was supposed to be Microsoft's unshakable fortress. DirectX Game Pass, Xbox integration, deep partnerships with developers. For years, if you were a gamer, Linux wasn't a serious option. But then Proton happened. Valve didn't just tweak compatibility, they redefined it. With Proton and the Steam Deck pushing Linux into living rooms around the world, thousands of Windows games became playable on Linux with minimal effort. Suddenly, gamers weren't asking, can Linux run this? They were saying, it just works. That moment was bigger than most people realized. Because gaming was never just about entertainment, it was about mindshare. It was about the younger generation growing up on a platform. When the Steam Deck succeeded, it quietly proved something powerful. Linux could deliver a consumer-grade experience at scale. Microsoft saw it. They had to. But Linux didn't stop there. It began showing up in places Windows couldn't compete. Cloud infrastructure, supercomputers, embedded systems. Android already dominated mobile using the Linux kernel. Chromebooks quietly took over education sectors in many countries. Developers increasingly built and tested software on Linux environments. Containers, Kubernetes, DevOps pipelines, all deeply rooted in Linux. Even Microsoft's own Azure infrastructure runs heavily on Linux. Let that sink in. Microsoft makes money from Linux. That's the irony. The company that once called Linux a cancer now depends on it for cloud revenue. And while Microsoft pivoted strategically, embracing open source publicly, the underlying tension remained. Because the more capable Linux becomes on the desktop, the less dependent users are on Windows. And here's where the real shift happened. Hardware vendors started paying attention. We're now seeing more laptops officially shipping with Linux pre-installed. Not obscure niche models, but mainstream offerings. Companies realize that there's a growing market of privacy-conscious users, developers, students, and even businesses that want alternatives. As Windows 11 increased system requirements and older hardware was left behind, Linux offered a lifeline. Suddenly, that old laptop ran faster on Linux than it ever did on Windows. That's not just convenience. That's empowerment. Microsoft's strategy increasingly revolves around cloud-first experiences. Copilot integration, AI assistants embedded deep into the OS, tight integration with Microsoft accounts. But not everyone wants that level of integration. Not everyone wants their operating system nudging them towards subscriptions or syncing everything to the cloud. Linux just did what Microsoft was afraid of by proving that a modern operating system can be powerful, beautiful, secure, and user-friendly without turning the user into the product. It redefined the value proposition. Instead of saying, "We can be like Windows," Linux started saying, "We can be better in the ways that matter." Privacy isn't a paid feature on Linux. You don't need to hunt through hidden settings to disable telemetry. There's no built-in advertising pushing you toward premium services. Updates don't suddenly reboot your machine at the worst possible moment. You choose when and how your system evolves. And that choice is the foundation of freedom. The open source model also means innovation isn't limited to one corporate roadmap. When users demand a feature, communities can build it. When something breaks, contributors worldwide can fix it. The pace of iteration, especially in desktop environments and package managers, has accelerated dramatically. Flatpak and Snap simplified software distribution. App stores and Linux distros now feel modern and accessible. You search, you click install, and it works. The myth that Linux requires constant terminal usage is fading fast. While the terminal remains a powerful tool, it's no longer mandatory for everyday tasks. This gradual removal of friction is what Microsoft feared most. Not a loud revolution, but a silent one. Because the biggest threat to a monopoly isn't an aggressive competitor. It's a viable alternative. In 2026, Linux is no longer the operating system you install out of frustration or curiosity. It's increasingly the operating system you choose intentionally. Developers choose it for efficiency. Creators choose it for stability. Gamers choose it because their libraries now work. Students choose it because it runs well on affordable hardware. Businesses choose it to avoid licensing costs and regain control over their infrastructure. And every one of those choices chips away at Windows dominance. Microsoft still holds a massive market share on the desktop. That's undeniable. But dominance isn't just about numbers. It's about perception. And perception is shifting. When tech influencers showcase their Linux setups without apologizing for them, that matters. When YouTubers demonstrate gaming benchmarks on Linux matching or exceeding Windows in certain titles, that matters. When mainstream media writes about Linux laptops as serious contenders, that matters. The narrative is evolving from Linux versus Windows to which Linux distro fits you best. That's a profound change. Microsoft's biggest fear wasn't losing servers. It wasn't losing developers. It wasn't even losing cloud revenue. It was losing the default status. Because once people stop assuming Windows is the only practical option, the playing field changes. And Linux just forced that shift. Even AI development heavily favors Linux environments. Many machine learning frameworks run natively and more efficiently on Linux. Researchers, engineers, startups, they build the future on Linux machines. The next generation of innovation is being trained on open systems. Think about that long term. If the creators of tomorrow grow up comfortable with Linux, what happens to Windows' cultural dominance? The change isn't explosive, it's incremental. But it's steady. Linux also embraced aesthetics in a way that surprised critics. Customization is no longer just about tweaking config files. It's about theming engines, global themes, seamless icon packs, dynamic tiling options, polished animations. Users can shape their desktops to match their workflows, not the other way around. Microsoft has been moving toward uniformity and simplification, sometimes at the expense of flexibility. Linux went in the opposite direction. It said yes to minimalism and yes to complexity. It gave users both. That duality is powerful. And perhaps the most significant factor is resilience. Linux doesn't depend on a single company's profits. It doesn't answer to quarterly earnings reports in the same way. While companies like Red Hat, Canonical, and SUSE contribute heavily, the core ecosystem is decentralized. That means decisions aren't dictated solely by shareholder pressure. Microsoft's transformation into a cloud and AI powerhouse is impressive. But it also ties Windows more deeply into corporate strategy. Linux, by contrast, evolves organically. That difference matters to users who feel increasingly like products in a digital ecosystem driven by data. collection and monetization. So when we say Linux did what Microsoft was afraid of, we're not talking about market share percentages alone. We're talking about legitimacy. We're talking about removing excuses. We're talking about building an operating system that stands confidently on its own merits without needing to imitate its competitor. Linux didn't defeat Windows overnight. It did something more subtle and potentially more powerful. It eliminated the reasons people were afraid to leave. And once fear disappears, choice becomes real. The operating system landscape in 2026 isn't about one winner and one loser. It's about diversification. It's about users realizing they have options. It's about power shifting from corporations back to individuals, even if only slightly. Microsoft will continue innovating. Windows will continue evolving. But for the first time in a long time, it feels like they're responding to Linux rather than the other way around. And that might be the clearest sign of all. Linux just did what Microsoft was afraid of. It grew up. It matured. It simplified without dumbing down. It expanded without selling out. It became approachable without losing its soul. And in doing so, it stopped being the underdog. It became a real choice. And that changes everything.